If you do it well, everybody wins. You do it not well, then your client loses. You don't do it at all, everybody's screwed. So what are we talking about? Well, this morning it's all about fantastic, real succession planning. And today is not about what is your business worth and how do I sell my business and how do I make it sellable. It's got nothing to do with that. Today is about real succession. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I trust you are doing well on this Friday morning. If you're watching the recording, a warm welcome. It's quite interesting to note that, and this may be very well something that applies to you, maybe not, but that more than half of the people watching our show has never subscribed, to the channel, which is actually amazing. So thank you very much for being here, and thank you for keep on watching the episodes. We will obviously be very grateful if you could hit that subscribe button. And because that helps us bring on bigger guests, it helps us do more with the show and have a bigger impact and change lives at scale. So if you don't mind and you do find value in what it is that we do, please hit that subscribe button. But this morning, I am excited to be talking a little bit about succession, and there is a backstory of why I am talking about succession this morning. It's something that we've spoken about at the summit. We've spoken about it in different other places, even at the tech event earlier in the year. We had a chat about succession, but that was very much focused on building a business of value. How do you sell it? Even what it's worth. I always know that people at the end of a session like that always go like, but for how many multiples can I sell my business? And people still don't get that. That's not really what the answer that you're looking for. It's about building a business of value. But today is about real succession, because I've been part of quite a few discussions in the last while. It's always the thing that prompts me to talk about something on the show is the real discussions I'm having on the ground with financial advisors, FSPs, bigger businesses, etc. And it's something that has just kept on coming up the last few weeks, and people are really having some issues with this. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. I've got quite a few things I want to say about that and share with you some really thought-provoking things. And what does real good succession look like? Because it's not a paper exercise. It is not getting somebody you like and saying like, maybe you and I should enter into a succession plan agreement or something to that effect, or even a buy and sell. So we're going to talk about all of those. What does it look like, etc. But anyway, this morning, as ouder gewoonte, I am not alone. I am joined by Nikki, fresh from LeaderX, and big congratulations to the FBI and the fantastic stage that they hosted at LeaderX yesterday at the Money Summit. It was really incredible to see so many people standing at the back because there's not enough space, and they had a massive space. So really good and well done to them, and really excited to see the impact that has on people in South Africa, and how many people were interested in learning more about financial planning and financial advice. So anyway, so Nikki's here with the latest news, and then we have Norma. Norma is going to talk about starting over or not, which is something I'm actually pondering. I don't know, Norma, you and I didn't get to speak much the last while, but you probably telepathy, something. Then we have Razan with Brandworks, and after that, I've got one or two announcements very quick this morning, and then we'll get into the discussion. But anyway, let me say a warm good morning to everybody here. So if you haven't said good morning, please do so. We've got Mark Weston Ford early in the house this morning. Good morning, my friend. Good morning, Terence. Fresh off of all the exams and ready for life again, and taking back what exams stole from you. So welcome back, Terence. We've got Heloise. Good morning, Heloise. Nice to see you as well. Renee saying hi. Good morning. Good morning. Not sure. D14 Swan. Not sure who that is, but I'll find out. Good morning, Neil Phillips. Good morning. Nice to see you. Harry Nell. Good morning. Nice to see you as well. We've got Kevin saying hi. Hi, Kevin. Good morning, Wouter. It was great chatting to your team at LeaderX yesterday at the stall there. So that was awesome. Ferdi van Niekerk, goeiemorgen. We've got Adrian. Good morning, Adrian. Nice to see you. Gary Wilson, good morning. We've got Andrew here. Good morning, Andrew. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Razan. We've got Willem Bester. Goeiemorgen, Willem. Charmaine, good morning. Nice to see you as well. I must just be careful that I don't shout. I'm sorry. Yotika, good morning. Nice to see you as well. Mr. Craig Finch is in the house. Good morning from Olifants Game Reserve in Hoedspruit. How lucky is that? Amazing. Liana is here. Good morning, Liana. We've got Eden. Good morning, Eden. And we've got also Michelle. Michelle, nice to see you back here. You said that you loved the show, so thank you very much. And then Sibongile Njovu, good morning. Ladies and gents, let's get the show on the road. I've already taken up way too much time. Let's hear what Nikki has for us this morning.
Good morning, Francois, and good morning, everybody listening. I just want to confirm what Francois said. We had a brilliant day at LeaderX yesterday. It was wonderful to see how hungry consumers are to hear about financial planning. We had 5 of our financial planners and financial advisors in the building that gave pro bono advice yesterday, and they were busy all day. And that was in addition to the talks we had, and that was very, very well attended. So for everybody that joined us at LeaderX, thank you so much for the support, and we hope that we can do this again next year. So let's quickly have a look at the updates that I could find this week. Now, first of all, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, the FSCA, is very busy with investigations into people who are not following the rules when it comes to financial advice. There were 2 warnings issued this week. The first one is that they warned the public to act with caution when conducting financial services related business with presidential blues FX. The FSCA received information that Presidential is soliciting funds from members of the public and then promising them unrealistic return, and they are not authorized to render financial products or services. The second one is a WhatsApp group that is using Ashburton's name to invite the public to join an investment-related scheme. And upon joining this WhatsApp group, the public is then prompted to click a link, complete a form, and asked to transfer funds. And Ashburton has confirmed to the FSCA that it is not associated with the WhatsApp group and is not encouraging the public to invest or transfer any funds on any platform. And it's concerning that they are using existing fund houses and in FSP's names to actually, have the scams running. So we should keep eyes out for that and warn people about it. Then I found a very interesting report that the CFA Institute in the US has produced. And this report lays out how investment professionals expect the industry to develop. This report is titled The Future State of the Investment Industry, and it aims to outline the most significant themes that will impact the investment industry in the next 5 to 10 years. Now, there's 4 clear themes that came out. The first one they call diverging worlds. This refers to the differing challenges emerging and developed economies face. Things like deglobalization, geopolitical conflict, demographics, and technological innovation are key areas where the CFA Institute sees this diversion taking place. The next narrative is something we've been hearing quite a lot about, that is sustainable finance. So according to the Institute, members and investors will continue to increasingly take environmental, social, and governance, so ESG considerations, into account in their decisions, particularly as they pertain to externalities. Climate change mitigation will be central to this, as central banks and regulatory authorities help ensure businesses are trustworthy and help manage systemic risks. And then the third theme that Francois also highlighted yesterday at LeaderX for our consumers is digital transformation. I mean, this is the biggest tech trend of the current time, and you can see it in all the reports that are coming out at this point in time. AI is very big in the picture. It is already reshaping the investment sector, often for the better. 91% of members whose firms have implemented AI and big data into the core business operations say it has helped. So, and included in that are digital assets and tokenization. So it's crypto and blockchain are also expected to grow and help persuade new individuals to become investors. And then the last one is very interesting. They call it the end of cheap money. The CFA Institute noted that central banks have abandoned zero interest rate policies, at least for the time being, but high inflation and sluggish economic growth mean new investment strategies and products to satisfy clients are needed. So I think if you can get a hold of the entire report, it will be really interesting to read. And yeah, it highlights very interesting insights into how the investment landscape will change in the next 5 to 10 years. Then just from FBI's side, a note to join our tax workshop on the 28th of September from 9 to 12 in the morning to hear from the tax ombud regarding developments in their space. And then we will also have tax experts that will speak to you about immigrations and also on Section 42 transfers, which is currently a big thing. And I know both the FSCA and SARS are keeping their eyes on it at this point. So if you want to join us for this, please go to fbi.co.za and click on events to register. And then just for a little bit of useless info on a Friday morning, today is National Doodle Day. Now, what is a doodle? It is a drawing made by someone whose mind is otherwise occupied at the time. Examples include drawings in the margins of school books, meeting notes, and I know I like to doodle when I'm listening. According to research, doodles have long-term neurological and physical effects. It can calm us, help us process information faster, and help break a creative block. So join us in celebrating the art of the doodle today and have a wonderful weekend, Francois, and everybody listening.
Thank you very much, Nikki. And just as a reminder, last week we couldn't give away the book because of a technical glitch. Well, this is Cryptomania, so we are going to do the draw a little bit later. But we're also giving away a book today, which is going to be Kobus's Accelerate Your Brand. He's got a little message inside for you, and he's signed the book as well. So if you are looking to stand a chance to win the book by the end of today, you can use the hashtag success. So all you need to do is in the chat, hashtag success. You can just comment that or add it to any comment that you're making. The system will pick it up and we'll do the draw a little bit later by the end of today's show. So stick around for that if you want to win. And we've got, as I said, we're giving away. So we'll do the draw first for Kobus's book using the other way of drawing it. So already when you commented last week, this would be the book. We've got your name and then Accelerate Your Brand up next. Right, but first up next is Norma. And Norma's going to talk about starting over or not. So let's hear what wisdom Norma has for us this morning.
Good morning. So glad to be back for my segment today. Now, my topic for today, as Francois mentioned, is starting over or not. So have you maybe thought to yourself ever that you wish you could just start over? And starting over maybe in relationships or maybe business or career or maybe just a project you're working on or maybe just content that you're writing. Wishing you could just rip that page out and then just start from scratch. Just start on a new slate and maybe start on a new canvas. So starting over really also has their own challenges. I know from my experience in 2017 when I had a big career change. I went from everything being so familiar and easy and knowing everything that I did, having my own little routine to something totally uncertain. There was a lot of doubt, a lot of insecurities, a lot of asking myself, am I doing the right thing? And there's no right or wrong to starting over or not. Sometimes we need to start over, but also sometimes it's not necessary to start over. We just need to change what we say and think in order to change what we see out in the world. Now, I was also at LeaderX yesterday and I attended a lot of the speakers' topics. And it was evident that and especially if I look at the economic side and the investment side, that the speakers were talking about their topic, and they gave evidence and they gave facts and data and supporting facts to support their topic. So if someone was talking about the global and what's the benefits of investing globally, they gave their whole spiel about that. Now the same for a person that was talking about local investing. They gave a whole lot of facts and evidence of why that is a good idea. And even the economists that spoke there, the one I could think of, gave a very neutral, maybe too hopeful outlook on South Africa, where the other one was maybe not that reassuring. And as I was driving home, I was thinking about these speakers, and I was thinking about why they all had access to the same information. They all have the same data, but yet some of them have so many different opinions at times. And why is that? It's because they decide or they choose what they focus on. Now, if I bring that back to personal development, we also can choose what we focus on. Now, if we are in our lives at a place where we feel stuck or we feel dissatisfied or discontent or we feel we're not happy and something in our life is just not working, I want to ask you, what are you focusing on? Now, exactly with those analysts, they were talking about finding value and finding opportunities. Now, for that specific analyst that was talking, she only have a certain amount of companies that she can invest in. Now, at this point, she can't just throw her hands up in the air and say, you know what, all the companies have been analyzed, all the value has been found, and all the opportunities. She needs to go and actually find value and find opportunities. So she sometimes needs to, let's say, turn those pages around, turn that data around to actually find value and find opportunities. And I think we need to do the same in our lives. That if we're at a point where we're stuck or we don't know, what is our next step, we don't see hope and we don't see a bright future for ourselves, just asking ourselves, what am I focused on? Because I can guarantee you're not focused on what's working, what's amazing and why you're blessed. And what value can you find where you are right now? Where's all the opportunities? Because as those analysts were saying yesterday, there are still opportunities out there. And if we look at our own lives and in our own businesses and in our own relationships, there's always that value that we can find where we are right now and opportunities. We just need to go look for them. So we don't necessarily always have to start over, because starting over has challenges. But what we can do is we can make those incremental changes. And what's so important, we just need to start thinking differently. We need to make sure that what we focused on is going to give us the desired outcome. So it's not necessarily always about making big changes and starting over, but looking for those small little things, those small little tweaks, finding value where I am right now and opportunities. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you for being here. I'll be back next week.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Norma. And already looking forward to next week. Next up, we have Razan with Brandworks, and excited for what she has to share with us this morning. So let's head on over to Razan and hear what she has for us.
Good morning and a warm welcome to this segment of Brandworks. Good morning and a warm welcome to this segment of Brandworks, brought to you by PROpulsion. Today we're going to be talking, or rather thinking, about the usefulness of technology, what a day without it or some of it would look like, and whether or not you're in touch with staying in touch with the technology your clients use. Right now, as you sit there, likely your phone's only an arm's reach away. 70% of you would have reached for your phone within the first 5 minutes of waking up this morning to open up the app and start using it. And by the time the day is done, you would have touched your phone between 3,000 to 5,000 times a day. Imagine doing 3,000 sit-ups a day. I mean, that is just absolutely mind-blowing. Now, the reason why I mention these numbers is because I want you to contextualize how big a part of our lives our mobile phones are, and also imagine what a day without your mobile phone will look like. There's so much technology on our phones, and it's by far the most important gateway that we have to the rest of the world. As you sit there, you would have already received a few WhatsApps this morning. You probably have a few that you still need to answer. You're probably waiting for answers on a few questions so that you can plan your day or your week. And even if you don't see a single person today, you would have had multiple conversations simultaneously while doing your work with people across the country and across the world for that matter. Now, imagine mobile phones do not exist. Everything that you have to do today, you can't do with your mobile phone. There's no virtual meetings in existence. You have a rudimentary form of email. You own a laptop computer, but it's not a given that everybody else owns a laptop computer. The only thing you really can rely on is the old landline. And you are very much dependent on whether the person you need to talk to or ask that quick question that you usually would have done on here, whether they're going to be in that location at that time when you phone them. That is all you really have. Now, if this is the scenario and you're sitting there with wherever you are with your landline, got a Word document open, you've got an Excel spreadsheet, and you've just sent a few emails, how much of what you need to do today and the questions that you need to ask other people that the tasks you need to do depend on, will you not be able to get done today? How much of your clients will you not be able to reach or get your value proposition in front of their hands? It's exponential if you think about it that way. Now, luckily, we don't have to do that. Put yourself back in today. We're very quick to assume that everybody has a mobile phone, which they do. 99% of South Africans own a smartphone. 96% of them use WhatsApp daily. But we're equally very quick to assume that everybody owns a laptop computer or that they access their emails daily. Do we ever ask, is this actually the case? If you were to segment your clients, how many of your retirees reach for their laptops or even own one on a daily basis? Do they get that PDF value proposition you mailed? Do they even know how to open it? Do they go and search for your website or you online? Do they even care? We put so much emphasis and investment on any available platform online we can find to make an imprint on, but very, very little thinking about how big a part of your client base for which this is actually useful, or about what devices they're going to be using to access them on. With just a few months left in the business year and your season's greetings needing to go out soon, start thinking about how you will be sending these to your clients before you start thinking about what you will be sending them. Do a thorough audit of your client base and shift the focus from where you are online to rather why you are online and how are you being accessed. And take the time to invest in getting those channels and communications suited to the type and the device your target audience will be consuming them on. A simple audit could look like something about segmenting your clients and looking at how many visit your digital assets on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. What do they visit it from? A smartphone or a laptop? Do they even own a laptop? Which channels are appropriate for which segments of your clients? Are they on those channels? And also bear in mind, just because they're on those channels doesn't mean they're there for you. In some cases, a simple WhatsApp for the exact same communication would have also done the trick, if not even been more effective. Remember, research tells us that 78% of consumers want to interact with brands the same way they do with friends and family. So before the year is out, put that client audit on your to-do list. Let us know if you'd like more information on how to do a client audit. And remember, form follows function. Have a wonderful Friday and stay blessed. Till next time.
Fantastic, Razan. And thanks for that reminder that, it's that time of the year we start thinking about end of year things and maybe gifts. And that made me think of something that I will share in the announcements with you quickly. So thanks for that reminder, Razan. But first off, let's do a couple of quick announcements. Alrighty, so just quickly again, if you want to be in the lucky draw to win Accelerate Your Brand by Quibus, then do use the hashtag success, hashtag success, 2 C's and 2 S's in the chat, and the system will pick you up and you will be part of the draw at the end. So if you want to do that, hashtag success. All right, so first off, the very first thing I want to say is save the date. Save the date because we're back. We're going to be back in March. And what am I talking about? Well, Propulsion Tech. So our phenomenal tech event that we had this year for the first time, where we showcased any and every technology that we can find, and product providers and software providers and hardware, and like all of the things, any tech that does touch your business. We're going to showcase that again. This year it's going to be, next year rather, it's going to have a little bit of a different format. It's going to be run over 3 days, 3 mornings. So it'll be the 5th, the 7th, and the 12th of March 2024. So do book that out. It'll be from 8:30 in the morning until 1 o'clock every single day for those two. So it'll be Tuesday the 5th, Thursday the 7th, and the next Tuesday the 12th of March. So do pencil that. Well, pen it in. Why pencil? Like, what's going to happen? Like, you've got to be there. This is one of those phenomenal opportunities where you can see everything that's available to you in a very short space of time. And not only that, we can connect you with the right providers and the right people to have the conversations about your business. So you will have that opportunity as well to connect with them directly at the event. Anyway, it's going to be completely virtual and live, as we always do. So Propulsion Tech back next year, March. Don't miss it for anything. Keep an eye out for the communications. They'll go out, not today, not this month, but very, very soon. So, but do pencil that in. Right, so that was the first one. And the second one is that Propulsion is taking to the roads of South Africa. So we are going to go on a bit of a road show, and we will be in Joburg, Pretoria, Cape Town, and Mark, do I have to come to Durban? Okay, Mark, I'll come to Durban. So we are going to those 4 places. Please keep an eye out for these events. We will let you know exactly what they will entail and what we're going to be doing. So we would love to see you in person and come and join us for that. But we will be sending out some emails and WhatsApps and things to this regard. So anyway, very much looking forward to those. So the dates and the venues and all of that will be communicated soon. Then the last one would be the last thing I want to talk about before the thing that Razan made me think about. If I can just find it yet, client meeting skills 2.0. So we're running module 3 next week. Module 3 is going to be on navigating the fact find elegantly and effortlessly. So if we've already done 2 of the modules, these programs are exclusive to Propulsion members. What is a Propulsion member? Well, it's somebody who joins our community. It is a paid-for community, 350 Rand a month, and you get access to all of these amazing programs that we do for our members, as well as all our events without any additional cost or anything like that. And obviously, you are part of this community where you can connect and network and support and get support from all of these amazing people that are part of this community. So if you haven't checked it out yet, the link is down below in the description, propulsion.co.za/community. So do go check it out. So if you haven't become a member of that, obviously there's a massive community built around the show. And this is all for free for you, but we do loads of more stuff in Propulsion. So if you're not a part of that, do consider becoming a part. Then before we jump into the feature topic, let me just share with you what I thought about as Razan was sharing about end of year. What are you going to do? How are you going to connect? And maybe even going further, say, some clients needs to get a gift, etc., etc. Now, around that, because every year I forget to say this, when you're giving a gift to a client, and it's a gift, it's a thank you, please don't give them something with your logo on, right? Logos means marketing. But when you give a gift, there's two things that you need to think about, is that you want something that's going to hit them right in the heart. So it's something that means something to them, right? So in other words, try to personalize that gift. And I'm not saying put their name on it. What I am saying is that it's a gift that would mean something to them. So don't buy everybody the same bottle of whiskey. Give them something that means something to them, and then something that'll stay in their mind for a very long time to come. Now, if you put a logo on it, you're erasing it from their mind already. So those are the two things you need to consider. So if you can give a gift that means something to the person because it's something that shows how much you value the relationship, not just that, but that you actually understand and know what they like and value. If it's something in line with that, it has an incredible impact. And it's something that they will remember forever, that whenever that thing stands there, someone says, where did you get this? They would immediately say, my financial advisor, my financial planner, or this financial planning firm this is where I got it. So no need to put a logo on it, but be thoughtful about the gifts that you give this year in 2023 and beyond. Doesn't even have to be end of year. It can be a birthday gift, an anniversary gift, any kind of thing like that. When you say thank you, leave the logo. Okay. So with that, last request, if you haven't yet, please like this video, share it with others. And today's discussion is going to be incredibly valuable. So let's share the message. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do consider doing so. All right. With that, we've gotten to the main part of the show. Let's do it. Good stuff. So why am I talking about this today? As I said in the opening, that this topic is something that's really top of mind for a lot of people close to me and people that are a little bit further away from me. And then also I've been having discussions and been helping other businesses sort of look at how they can facilitate a discussion around succession with different advisors, because I find that, a lot of independent financial advisors out there are really battling with this. And in most cases, it's actually still a tick box exercise. And we'll talk about all of these things this morning. But it is definitely something that this is a business thing. This is not a regulatory legal requirement thing. This should be if I run a proper business, and whether it's a one-man, one-woman business, or you've got a bigger business, doesn't matter. It's very important that we think about this from a business continuity point of view, because there's a lot of people who rely on your business. First and foremost, your clients. Secondly, people who work for you. And thirdly, all your dependents. So those are all the people that we're going to let down if we don't do a proper succession plan and we don't do this properly. And there's quite a few things that I've noted over this. I had a very interesting conversation with somebody recently that I sort of worked with for a very, very long time, a very good relationship with. And I was in part of that business for a good while. And we were talking about all of this stuff because I was initially going to be the succession plan. And I'm in talks with other people about succession plans and whether I will get involved or not. So these things are really top of mind at the moment. So some of the things I'm going to talk about this morning that hopefully I've got enough time, we'll see. But why is it a necessity? It's not why must I do it? It's a necessity to do this, right? So why is that the case? How do you identify the right successor? Because I think this is really where a lot of people are battling with that and the letting go part. Timing. When do I start looking at this? When is it appropriate? How do I know? And then we obviously touch on some of the legal things that we need to consider when doing succession planning, and then also maybe just some of the things that FASE wants us to do. I'm not going to get too much into that. I think most people would know that. But then also, what does the handover process look like when it works well and when it's done right? So what does that look like? And then obviously I can't do this without asking the question, but can technology help me? So we'll do all of that, right? So let's start with why is it a necessity to do succession planning? Well, it's just that it's an unavoidable reality, right? That at some point in time, you are going to move on from your business. It's a fact. And whether that is because you retire, or because you are hurtful, or because you pass away, become disabled, any of those unforeseen things. Like there could be so many reasons, but it is inevitable that at some point you are not going to be there anymore. And the problem is that if we are complacent about this and we say, I'll do it, then you run the risk of losing clients, because I know about people that are getting loads of questions from clients saying like, what happens to us when something happens to you? It is a question that's top of mind. Remember, yesterday I said at Leader X, I said to the people that, money is probably the most intimate thing and the most private and most important thing in most people's lives. It is the thing that makes everything else possible. So when somebody trusts you inexplicitly and you've got this relationship, there's a massive responsibility to make sure that they will be okay when you're no longer around. How do you know that the people you leave, in whose hands you leave them, are going to do the same things or even better than what you did? They can't do worse. Do the same or better. So that's very, very important. So just maybe some statistics that really drives this home. It's not necessarily it's about some global statistics, but I'm pretty sure if it looks like this globally, it can only be the same or worse in South Africa probably. But according to a study by the Financial Planning Association, the FPA, only about 27% of financial advisors had a formal documented succession plan. Now, that doesn't make it a great succession plan. So we're going to talk today about what does a great succession plan look like. But also, there are also some other reports that suggest that businesses with a well-documented succession plan, and this is the very interesting part, right, can fetch a higher valuation by as much as 20%. So you can get 20% more for your business when somebody else wants to buy it if there's a proper succession plan that's documented and that is in place. That's massive, right? And then also, it does affect, if you don't have a succession plan, it can affect your client retention. Maybe not now where you are, but later on, as people say, sure, I'm now getting worried. I'm getting older. They are getting older. Maybe I should rather move to a big company like a PSG or a GCI or someone like that, because at least I know they will continue and there will be somebody to look after me. So these are the kind of things. And then you get to the point in time where you think you're going to realize some value from your business because you're getting to retirement, and then the value drops because we start losing clients. But it is very important that having a succession plan and also communicating this with clients are quite important. So that's sort of setting the scene. But how do I identify the right successor? What does the right successor look like? Now, this is pretty much for me like finding your ideal client. You've got to find your ideal successor. And again, the things that matter most are probably not necessarily, first off, do they have their CFP and all the technical skills and things they have? Those things are absolutely important. I think the reason why it is so hard to find the right successor is because of the things I'm about to share with you. And also, it's actually about more than just finding the right successor, because I know people have found the right perfect person, but then the biggest thing that they struggle with is letting go. It's really integrating that successor into their business, because I don't believe that having a succession plan where you have an FSP and I have an FSP, and now we enter into an agreement, and when something happens to me, you'll take over, and if something happens to them, that's not going to work. That is not going to work. If you have a succession plan, I'm of the opinion that you should actually employ your successor, or you should merge your FSPs if you really want to do this properly. So you've got to become partners, not necessarily day one, because maybe you want to do something over time and first see if this is really what you think it's going to be. So it's not to say, we're going into a succession plan, let's merge. That's not a good idea to do that day one. But over time, you have to move closer and closer and closer together if you want to make this work. Because just having an agreement means nothing to the client. They don't have a relationship with this person. They don't trust them. This person knows nothing about them. They're starting from scratch. And then more often than not, they're going to go find somebody else because they have to anyway. And then there's no value for this person in here. And also your client is out in the cold again, left to their own devices. So I think that's probably the hardest part about this. But what are the qualities that you all probably want to look for in a successor? I don't know. You can share with me in the chat what would be important to you from this point of view. The first port of call for me is always like, who are they as a person? Who are they as a person? Are they trustworthy? Are they energetic? Are they positive? Are they doing things in a similar fashion than you? Do they have a similar vision? Is there alignment of that? Do they care as much as you do, or do they care even more? Because they must be better than you, the same or better. They can't be worse. So it's very, very important that we think about who they are as people. Will this person be a good fit for my clients? And it's going to be hard to find somebody exactly like you, which is obviously not necessarily the point. But you want somebody who's going to keep on the legacy that you've built. You want somebody that will even enhance that as they move forward with your clients. And that genuine care, as I mentioned earlier, is absolutely critical. They have to really care for people because without that, if somebody's just coming in there with a business mindset and, oh, how big is your book? Yeah, let's do it, because that's not the right person, unless you are focused on that as well, obviously. But at the end of the day, if you're somebody who really cares about clients and you are client-centric and you focus on them first, and the focus is on them and not on yourself, you want somebody like that as a successor as well. Then comes all the other things, their technical skills, because it is important. Technical skills will always be important. They've got to know their stuff. But then more importantly, what are their people skills? Like, how good are they with people? Their soft skills. How much do they know and understand about a client? How are they able to ask questions and build that relationship with a client? So those are the other things that you want to look at. And I think a third thing that's really, really important is leadership skills. Because like it or not, you are leading a team of people in your business, whether it's one person or whether it's all the consultants and all the external sort of sources that you work with. You are leading a team so that you can achieve an outcome for a client. So you need somebody with leadership skills as well. Very, very important, right? So just to quickly say, so who are they as people and what are their competencies? So those are the two things. But this one about who they are as a person, this is the most important one. This is the one that you really need to take time to see. And this is when you meet somebody new and you have a discussion and you hit it off. Don't just go like, I've got a FSP, you've got an FSP. Let's do a succession plan. I really like what, I like you, you like me, let's do it. Not the way to do it. Take your time, right? It's build that relationship, spend time, go away together, meet regularly for coffees and lunches and stuff in person. Spend time together, go spend time in their business. Let them come and spend time in your business. Don't just go for it. Right? It's the worst thing in the world that you can ever do is to take that approach. Now, obviously, there are some pitfalls and things that we need to consider, when it comes to selecting a successor. And I think exactly what I've just said is that there's a massive danger in making a decision based on convenience or a familial relationship. So what does that mean? Well, it's somebody I know. I've known this guy. They look like it. They've never been in trouble. Yeah, let me speak to them. Not a good idea. You don't really know that person, even though you think, just because we've been friends for 6 years or 10 years or 20 years doesn't mean that this is a great fit for my clients, just because it's a great fit for me. So you've got to think about that. And on that note, I think one of the biggest mistakes we make is that we don't involve the other key stakeholders. And other key stakeholders, your clients, you're not involving your staff, you're not involving maybe your spouse in that decision. And this is something that I value highly, is input from my spouse, saying, challenging what I'm doing, sort of sharing how I can do it better, asking the questions that I maybe don't want to ask, or maybe the questions that I know I should be asking, but I purposefully don't ask them. So those are the key stakeholders, your dependents. Like, these people all need to have an insight into what are you going to do and who's best to take your business forward. And I think the biggest one of them all, the biggest mistakes we make when it comes to succession is that it's just a contract approach. It's a tick box exercise. I hate tick boxes. But phase and the code of conduct and all that requires us to have a succession plan, a documented succession plan in place. It is a requirement. Your compliance officer is haunting you about this. And then we go like, let me just find someone. Let me just get them off my back. But I promise you, it is the worst thing in the world to do. So just having a contract-only approach is not going to work. So I'll talk a little bit more about all of this. But at the end of the day, it is about really moving closer together and really working together and integrating so that that person, when something happens, does take over. So we're going to look at that handover process in a while. Right, so that's finding the ideal successor. The other thing I want to talk about a little bit is timing. So when is it a great time? When do I know that I maybe should have started already? Okay, obviously, if you die today, then you know, hey, I should have done this yesterday. But, at what point in your journey do you think like, oh, now it's time for me to sort of maybe really start thinking about this? Because the last thing you want to be thinking about succession is when you're just starting out and you're in that first 5 years and you're building business. This won't be top of mind. And that's fine, because probably the impact is going to be limited because you don't have such a big practice yet. However, what you do want to do is start, as early as possible. You do want to start as early as possible with succession planning. This is not a thing where I want to retire in 5 years' time and now I need to start looking. That's too late. It's way, way, way too late. It's never too late, but you should have started earlier. So definitely start as early as possible. What you want is time to groom and integrate the successor into your business. So important. People need to get used to them. I mean, like, I worked with people who said, like, you know what, I do this and you do that, and this is a perfect fit because I'm not getting to this. And then I got to the business and then they're not introducing any of their clients to me. Why? Because they're not comfortable. The client's not comfortable, and it takes time. That was the big eye opener for me, is to say, like, it's not just like this isn't a bank. This isn't some, divorce machine where people just go, oh, let's just do it. And it's just transactional. These are people's lives that we're talking about. So you want to be able to, and if I say groom that successor, it means like making sure that they understand fully how you work, what is important to you, what is the process, how do you deal with clients, who are the clients, and introducing them to your clients so that there's a relationship and a familiarity that starts forming. So that's the important one. Then obviously you want to make sure that there's an alignment of vision. Because if you don't have the same vision, if this is all about, let me just gather assets under management because that's my main thing and that's the only thing I measure, I don't really care about clients as long as we keep most of it, and you are all about the client, that's a misalignment of vision. Like where you wanted to take the business, because remember, that is what clients bought into. Clients bought into your vision. They bought into your mission. They bought into who you are. And if that changes drastically, clients are going to go elsewhere. That's not good for the business. It's not good for your dependents. It's not good for your staff. So that's definitely something that we don't want. The biggest thing about this is if we integrate the successor into our businesses or into our daily practices, and this is why I feel so strongly about the fact that you should either appoint somebody that you will groom up to be your successor, or when you do agree with someone, you've got to start working more closely together. So if you're going to be each other's succession plan, work with each other's clients, see clients together, do those kind of things. When there's communication, it comes maybe combinedly from you both. It is about really having that, or to enable that seamless transition. Then at the end of the day, it's like nothing happened, But you can't have a seamless transition unless there was a lot of work done before that point. I know about stories, and it's a pity that that I couldn't get Ian to be here today, but they have incredible stories about people who passed away without any succession plans in place and the absolute chaos that ensued because of that. So it's a real thing today. Then also maybe some of the indicators that I can give to you that you might think about, like these are things like when you notice this in your business and go, I should start with my succession plan. So you have financial stability. Maybe that's one of the things, very predictable income stream. In one of the sessions I do, we talk a lot about having an ongoing revenue stream, but a diversified revenue stream at a client level. So when you reach those kind of metrics, then, it's very predictable. It's recurring. You can see all of that. So then, that would be a good time now to start focusing on this, because you don't have to focus so much on acquiring new clients. Also, obviously, reaching a particular age. I won't tell you what that age is. That's for you to decide. But maybe when you, I don't know, just take a number, 50, 55, 60, I don't know. You should start thinking about this. But that would be one of them. Also, when you have a well-established client base. So once you've built your client base and you find that you're moving from that phase 2 to phase 3 scenario that I sort of spoke about in the financial advisor maturity curve episode, that now it's more about expanding services to your existing clients. So you're not really trying to acquire more new clients. It's more like, what can I do for my existing clients and maintain this and retain my clients and start diversifying a lot more around what we do for them. So that would be a very good indicator. So look, I've got a good solid business. I've got a stable business. It's got a business that's worth something. So I really need to look after this asset of mine from that point. Now, some of the things you can be doing also to prepare your business for this transition phase, because that's going to be disruptive. There's no way about it. You should expect it to be disruptive. You've got to expect it to be frustrating. You're bringing another person into your process. As I said, whether they're outside or inside your business, is going to be that. But a way to make this easier is, even in preparation to this, is make sure that you have standardized procedures and documented processes. Like, you've heard this a million times, but still we don't do it. And funny enough, you don't have to do all of your processes. Do the 20% that you do 80% of the time. Because 20% of your processes are driving 80% of the work you're doing. So you at least do those. You're going to do yourself a massive favor. You got to make sure that you strengthen client relationships even more. So spend more time with clients. Talk to them about this. Let them know what the plan is. Okay, and make sure that you've got a great team behind you, whether it's one person or 100 people, doesn't matter. But make sure that you've got that, and you've got a great operational framework that you can refer to. So that's a little bit about the timing. If I think about the legal and regulatory aspects, I don't want to talk too much about this, but obviously it is a requirement to have a succession plan. But the problem is everybody's using it. Here's the document. We signed it. Yeah, we're okay. The big problem here is that your business can't run without a key individual. So when the key individual, you, pass away, then what happens? Who appoints that key individual? Oh, it's the FSCA. Oh, and they are quick. Right? No, they're not. So unfortunately, there's a process, and that process can be 6 weeks, 3 months, depends. But as long as there's no key individual, everything is stopped, and there's no going back. Like, that revenue is lost forever. So now what happens? Clients need service. Client needs advice in that time. What are you going to do? Well, you're going to be dead probably. But what is that other person going to do? It's a real problem. So you already need to appoint the person who's your succession plan as a KI in your business. That at least ensures continuity from that point. But that's an important thing to just consider from that. And whether you work in a tight space or not, or in an IFA space, this doesn't matter. You know, when you're in the tight space, I'd go like who's the person? Because at least there's no change in FSP. So the license will stay the same. You don't have to worry about those things. But you already need to get somebody comfortable with this other personality. So a lot of the things I spoke about applies both to tight and IFA. Just by the way, you've got to think about this. But let's look at the legal side of it, right? So there are different contracts and things that we can have in place. So we can look at putting a buy and sell contract in place, because obviously you want somebody to buy your business. There's other succession plans out there where you can join a bigger FSP and they will buy it with your money. Like, I don't know if you realize that's what's happening. But the bigger businesses are using your own money to buy your business from you. It's fantastic. What a clever plan. But anyway, so those are the kind of things that you need to consider. Will you do a buy and sell? Is there going to be a partnership agreement maybe? And what does that entail? Are you bringing them into your business? How are you going to deal with that? Are you just going to say in your will that I bequeath my business to this financial advisor? Are you going to do it that way? What about the funding? So again, that's where the buy and sell is really maybe a much better proposition to sort of do something around that if you can. But then also just think about what's going to happen, to your employees. Think about what's going to happen to your dependents if you don't do this stuff well and you don't have the right things in place and you don't get the right advice. Don't also think that you can do this just on your own, by your own, by yourself. Get experts involved that can help you, legal people who can really value your business, look at your business, see where the opportunities are, see where the risks are, all of those kind of things. And people who can really ask the hard questions where you are uncomfortable to ask the other party those questions. So do those kind of things, right? Then the handover process, which is quite important. There's sort of two ways to hand over. There's gradually and there's immediate. There's like, woof, boof. Now, here you go. There's the whole business for you. And that's usually the one that doesn't work out well. You'll see often when one business purchases another advice business, they insist that that person stays on for 3 years or 5 years even in the business while they transition over. And there's a big reason for that. It's because clients don't stay. Clients don't stay. So the gradual way is the much better way to do a handover from this. And you've got to also think about the educational training that needs to take place, right? So not just from like real education. I'm talking about it's the operations of the business, it's the business strategy, it's the philosophy of the business. It is everything to do with your business. That person needs to be trained so that they know how you did business, right? Also, something maybe like, as I mentioned earlier, let them come and work in the business. Let them go with you and see clients. Get them involved. So a little bit of role shadowing, those kind of things, very, very important. But more importantly is the communication with clients. How do we communicate with clients, right? Long before there's a handover, they need to know what the plan is, what's going to happen, who is this person, can I trust them? And those communications you need to think about. Now, I'm not saying communicate with them on a weekly, monthly basis, but at least every review you have with a client, that's the bare minimum that you need to be talking about what's happening in terms of your succession planning. You've got to make sure that there's internal communications and that staff knows what will happen if something happens to you. Because we all think we'll never die. We all think we'll never become disabled. We all think we're never going to get to retirement. And that's absolutely not true. And also document the processes that I mentioned earlier. And then also just think about, there's a massive part of this whole handover. At the end of the day, if something does happen to you or you do step away or whatever the trigger is for this, what about the technology you're using in your business? What's going to be the handover from there? So giving them access to your emails, giving them access to the systems and all of those kind of things. So there's a lot to think about. Yes, as you can see, it's not only, it's fine to sign the contract, but what then happens when the thing happens? Like that needs to be planned and that needs to be thought about. And then as you go through this transition period, you've got to review and what's working, what's not working, and maybe make some adjustments to that. But that's important from a handover process. Can technology help us, though? And I guess the answer is always yes. Because if we do things well while we're doing our business and while we're running our business, everything becomes so much easier. And technology is that tool that enables us to do that and see a lot of things. So, everything needs to be in your CRM. I'm saying that again, and people have got different views on this. Everything, if it's not in your CRM, it doesn't exist. That's where it's at. Data analytics, you've got to be able to look at your business, see what's happening, identify where there's areas of risk, areas of opportunities. What should you be doing? Maybe there's a part of your business you should be selling off before the time and just focus on certain other things. I don't know. But there's loads of things that you can find from the data analytics if you really start looking at those. And there are people who can help you with that. Absolutely. Thinking about how you manage your documents virtually and online and have it available to your team and to the new person coming in, etc., so that that's there within all of the POPIA and all of these other regulations as well. And then very importantly, like our virtual communication platforms, things like Zoom and Teams and Google Meet, those kind of things. Like, what do you use? How do you use it? What is that experience like? Like, how do you communicate with clients? But those systems makes this so much easier as well. And for you to catch up with the person who's going to come in as a successor as well. All the cloud solutions we have means that we can collaborate from anywhere. So it's made it a hell of a lot easier. If this was 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago, we would have had really a tough time to put good succession plans in place because we had to get together every time, etc. But now we can meet virtually, we can collaborate virtually. So all of these things are possible. But the one thing you should never forget when it comes to tech is to think about cybersecurity. So think about what's going to happen and how do you secure all of this information? How do you make sure that the wrong people don't get access to the information? And whatever tools you're using, always ask the question about how secure is it? What level of security do they employ, etc., etc. So those are some of the important things. So I think some of the key takeaways just from this morning session is, got to take time to identify the right successor. But once you've done, you've got to bring them in. You've got to involve them. This is not a paper exercise. That's probably the biggest takeaway I want you to have from this morning. Start as early as possible. Don't wait. If you haven't started yet, start today. Okay, or Monday then. But we always start on a Monday, then we never do. So start today with this. Start thinking about this. Start thinking about who are the people you would ideally like to involve in your business. Make sure that when you do put this in place, that you involve the right legal people to help you structure this in a way that really makes sense for your client first, secondly, for your employees, and thirdly, for your dependents. And make sure that you plan a great handover process and that it's a gradual one and not an immediate one. and see how much you can use technology to help you. Brilliant stuff. Righty, so let's do the lucky draw. So let me share this one quickly. So I will do the first draw. And if you are ready to see this, let me just bring it up on the screen. There you go. Right, so this is the draw for the Cryptomania book from last week when I had some technical difficulties. So it's this book from Quibus, Cryptomania. We had a chat with James Core about crypto last week, and the whole idea with the conversation was education. So we want people to know as much as they possibly can about crypto so that you can know where you stand on that on the one hand, and also how do you help clients better. So what we're going to do is, let me put this full screen. We are going to do a random draw. So I've put all the names in there from the people who commented with hashtag crypto last week. So let's see who the winner is going to be for this book. Who will it be? Let's see. Look at that. Des, well done, Des. So Des has won this book. Des, I will send you a little video in a second once we finish this. And so looking forward to that. So well done. Congratulations on that. And then obviously the second one is going to be the giveaway for this morning. And this giveaway is for hashtag success. So we've got 21 people who has entered. If you still want to comment hashtag success, you want to get in to win Quibus's other book, Accelerate Your Brand, then you can still comment hashtag success. All right, so here we go. Let's do the draw. And if you're not in, you're out. So there we go. So who will be the winner today? Let's see who it is. Who will it be? Who will it be? Yotika, well done. Congratulations. You've been a long time viewer of this and attending many of our other sessions. So a massive congratulations. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for entering. So I will be in touch right after the show. But ladies and gentlemen, that's that for today's show. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for sticking with us. I've gone a little bit over time, for which I hopefully don't have to apologize because it was such a valuable session. But I'll see you back next week, same time, same place. In the meantime, please stay safe, be blessed and prosper, and continue to raise the bar in everything you do. And I'll see you back next week. Thank you very much. Love you. Bye-bye.